A 5 mile side path on each end.
Well, it sounds like so when you were on waiting to go on Iwo Jima and didn't go. What happened after that? You went back to Guam, or
About that long that somewhere I come to the States,
okay?
and then I went back right at the end of the war to Guam, and we didn't do nothing. Kind of hung around, and they had a point system. If you had enough points, you were evacuated back to the States. I had enough points again, so I come back home. But coming back home, I came on they had some LSTs and LCIs that they needed to get back to the States, which were all damaged in one way or another. So they only traveled about top speed about 3.5, 4 knots. And we went along a while, a week or so, and then we picked up a outfit of I think they were called LCIs. They were boats made out of wood to pick up mines and stuff like that, torpedoes. Anyway, they needed fuel and water, so we provided fuel and water for those. You know, I myself was with the group that was running the water makers to make fresh water. Anyway, I don't know, it was about 40-something days getting back to the States from Guam. About twice as time as normal it would take.
Yeah. Well, you want to start over and start with the beginning? How you?
I guess, might as well.
Well, tell me about how you joined. When you?
Well, in August 1941, 1941, I joined the Marine Corps. I went downtown Houston to join. Originally, I was going to join the 3Cs, but I got downtown. There was a sign that says, "I want you, Uncle Sam." So I walked in there and I joined the Marine Corps. At that particular time, the Chronicle interviewed us, and I was, I think, about 5'4" tall and 109 pounds.
Were you 16 or 17?
17. And the guy says, the sergeant says, "Can you carry 100 pounds all day?" I says, "I can carry 100 pounds all day." So he said, "Okay." Never had to prove it. Had to get my parents' consent, so I knew Mama wouldn't sign, so I went across the street to the courthouse, and there was some old wino sitting there, and I gave one of them $1, and he signed my parents' consent form. So I went back and got everything done, and he told me to go on home. We would leave that night from Central, from what's now the ballpark, was a depot then. We left from there on the train for San Diego. I don't know, it was a couple of days ride to San Diego on a train. I don't remember no part of that. We just ride on a train, killing time. We got to San Diego in the middle of the night, early in the morning. They fed us, put us to bed. Went to bed, and the next day we started our Marine Corps training, which was 12 weeks at San Diego Marine Base. Did all that, got out of boot camp our boot camp sergeant was a Sergeant Rose, which at the particular time was a champion of the Asiatic Fleet, middleweight champion, I believe. Anyway, it was mean as hell. We trained right there at the base, and it's right on the harbor in San Diego, and it's about a half mile, I guess, from the water's edge. One of the things we had to do is pick up a bucket, half-gallon bucket, one in each hand, and run to the beach, get it full of sand, wet sand, and had to be back at the report to the sergeant. The buckets had to be dripping. So that's pretty good feat. And I passed that the first time around. We did our rifle training there in Camp Irwin, California also, which is adjacent to San Diego. And then there I went to what they called a motor transport school, learned to operate. They didn't have Jeeps then, we had motorcycles with sidecars. There were 45 Scouts, Indians 45 Scouts, with a sidecar. And we furnished transportation for people around the San Diego base that needed to go places. It seemed like every time I did that, it was a 250-pound man, about 6'4", riding a little old sidecar, and I barely weigh over 100 pounds. I pushed that damn sidecar on the road, I think. After that, was trained to operate a Caterpillar tractor in high-speed track vehicles they call tree tracks, and trucks, all kind of trucks. Hauled water for a while with an old truck that carried about 600 gallons of water and chain drive, solid tires. Hauled water from Marine Base up to Camp Irwin, which is about 14 miles. About that time, the war started, and everybody then it was just pandemonium for a while, I thought. But anyway, they took a bunch of us down to a big old warehouse, and there was some trucks there. They were tandem trucks. They were called 5-ton trucks, tandem axles, Federals. They were used for searchlight units. Anyway, we took those trucks and we went to Hawthorne, Nevada to pick up ammunition. We hauled ammunition back from Hawthorne, Nevada to San Diego. And it was all blackout, you know, and no lights, no of any kind. And about every 5 miles they gave us a quart of, I think it was a quart, maybe a half-gallon of carrot juice, supposed to make you see better. Did a lot of other things, but didn't make you see any better. Did that for a while, and then things kind of settled down, you know, got organized, and they were going to use the B-25s about that time to bomb Tokyo. So they were going to use, they tried all kind of ways. They put ejectors on the carriers. Some of them were operated with steam, some were there to shoot help the 25 to get off. But as it was, when they did that, when they launched that operation, they didn't need it. The wind was good enough going into it.
Yeah, Dad.
And they didn't need our launchers or steam or any of them. They just, the wind was strong enough going into it for them to be launched. see after that what I do.
And you were doing that in California?
Yeah. The little camp. They just called Camp Brenda Vista, I think. Most of the damn olive orchard. Olives. Yeah, olives. Then war was going on, and we went to. I was a time lapse there, and I don't remember what happened. But anyway, I wound up on a ship, went overseas. The ship was it was so close after the war started that it had no time to convert it to a transport ship, but it still was a ship that was a luxury liner, the lower line. We went to, from we left from, I think we left from San Diego. I believe it was San Diego. Anyway, we were supposed to have an escort, the largest escort to leave California for the war zone. But the lower line was fast enough it didn't need an escort, so this, about the second day we didn't have no escort. We got up that morning, looked all around, there was no escort. We were by ourselves. But they were zigzagging. And that lower line could run about 25 knots. And it was luxury, you know. I mean, it was a luxury liner like they have today for caravan. People go to different places, but this was just immediately after the war. This was the first time. Still had a civilian maritime crew on it and all that. So we went to New Caledonia. I think we was about 6 or 7 days getting to New Caledonia, maybe 10. New Caledonia, we got out the boat and at Noumea, which was the capital of New Caledonia. There was a big colony there, leprosy colony. We was camped just below that, between that leprosy colony and the beach with the water on the backside of the island. We got our stuff all together and we worked for a couple of weeks there fixing up the leprosy colony. And then about half of the company went down at the opposite end of the island. Can't remember the name of that place. They built a temporary strip where the bombers could get gas and fuel, going to New Hebrides or Solomon Island or where we had to go. I don't know. We just extended and repaired an existing old runway. I think it's supposed to be a Pan American Airways thing. New Caledonia is quite a place. To all of us guys that were new to the foreign countries. They had a house there called the Pink House. Actually, it was a whorehouse. Cost you $3 for 3 minutes. You had to have a short arm inspection going in and out. It was closed on Sunday also. It was quite a place. Lines were always long. Whether you believe it or not, I never attended. Anyway, we finished that little chore up and then we went on to Guadalcanal. And I don't remember what kind of ship or anything, how we got from New Caledonia to Guadalcanal. But I do remember landing in Guadalcanal, and I'm almost certain it was August the 7th, 1942. The war was started in 41, right?
Yep.
So it was August the 7th, 1942. I ran a TD-18 tractor, which was manufactured at that time by International. And we had it all taped up where we could land in the water over even the seat of the tractor. And each tractor pulled an Atlee wagon, which is a trailer that had tracks on it just like a Caterpillar tractor. It had all kind of stuff on it. They had camp supplies, ammunition, whatever. We got all that stuff ashore, and we've got a few days we set up our camp off of the main road. And the reason I say it was a bastard outfit, we had to steal everything from the Army that we ate. And our commanding officer was named Saltanov. So I'm almost Saltanov. During the day, he'd ride around the island in a jeep. At that time, we had one jeep, and find supplies. He didn't look for anything, carrots and peas and all that. He didn't look for that. He looked for canned pineapple and fruit cocktail and all that stuff. Draw maps. Did guys go out at night and steal it. You better not come home with any carrots and peas. And we'd steal that supplies. We was there quite a while. It was right on a little old creek. And we had our showers right on that creek.